All right, now we'll have our third lecture that will give us a very interesting illustration of a practical implementation of these ideas. And Mathieu, Hermen from Greater Lyon and Camille, Jamet from Lombardi will be talking about a green tunnel in the City of Lights. So over to you, Camille.
Yep, I'm here. So I'd just like to say that Mathieu, although he's not visible in any way, he's right by my side. So my name is Camille Jamet. I'm an engineer for Lombardi Engineering in Lyon, and I'll be doing the presentation in Mathieu Hermen's stead. Mathieu Hermen is the head of the Highway and Tunnel Service at the Greater Lyon. So with this presentation, I'll try and show you how in the framework of the heavy refurbishment project of the Croix-Rousse tunnel, the Greater Lyon tried to incorporate the notion of sustainability. So, first off, change my slide up. First off, just a quick reminder on the history of the tunnel. So, construction began during the World War II, and it continued up to 1952, date at which the infrastructure was actually open for car traffic. So like I said, at first the tunnel was solely for cars. It lies in the heart of the city of Lyon, close to the city hall, and it plays a major role for the city in two senses. First of all, it is a link between the two rivers, Rhône and Saône, and their docks, which serve as a promenade spot for many inhabitants of Lyon. But it also serves as a rapid connection road into the eastern and western parts of the city. Initially, the tunnel was urban, monotube, bidirectional, had 2x2 roads in both directions, and had an approximate frequentation of 45,000 vehicles per day. If you look at the presentation, the slide that you can actually see, you will see that both portals of the tunnel, as they once were, in the bottom of the slide, its location, as well as the layout of the 5 ventilation centrals. So, the need to evolve. As early as the 1980s, with the increase of car traffic, the city of Lyon envisaged a project for a new tube. The main objective of this project was trying to fluidify car traffic in the eastern part of the city. To do so, the project was meant to double the capacity of the tunnel, but also add a bridge, over the Saône as an immediate continuity of the tunnel. Transit galleries that are visible on the slide between the tubes were also planned to improve user evacuation in the case of the fire. And this reflection in the 1980s was solely concentrating on car traffic without considering other modes of transport, and stayed that way for 20 years. In France, in the early 2000s, regulation on road safety evolved. Following this, the Greater Lyon had the will to initiate safety assessments of the Croix-Rousse tunnel. This led to a complete diagnosis being made of the tunnel with, unfortunately, an alarming result. The tunnel was worn out and major insufficiencies were raised. Insufficient fire resistance of structural elements, safety equipment was reaching obsolescence, ventilation system performance was widely subpar compared to new requirements. This diagnosis brought about the urgency of the refurbishment project. So quite rapidly, the Greater Lyon wanted to take advantage of the new regulations and updates of the tunnel safety in order to broaden the project to an urban requalification of the tunnel. Naturally, the main objective of the project was still ensuring an appropriate safety level for tunnel users. Nevertheless, the project was a great stepping stone to solve urban and environmental challenges that were arising at that time. So quickly, 4 main concerns arose: a technical concern about mobility, an urban concern, and finally an environmental concern. So these 4 major concerns. On the technical aspect, the new and renovated tunnel must respect new regulation requirements on safety, as we've mentioned earlier. In case of a fire, for example, user evacuation must be an absolute guarantee to the structure. Must be an absolute guarantee. The structure must resist to fire, and the tunnel equipment must be modernized. Concerning mobility, the issues were different. So the city of Lyon has an urban mobility plan that needed to be respected. One must not generate an increase in car traffic. It was an absolute priority for the city. To do so, we tried and encouraged we tried to facilitate as well the use of new and modern means of travel, such as green modes and alternative modes. For urbanism, here also the issues were different. The tunnel is part of a very dense and active part of the city of Lyon, which is called the Croix-Rousse, believe it or not. The Rhône portal is situated on the slopes of the Croix-Rousse, which is actually UNESCO World Heritage, which needs to be protected and made sure that it's not modified too severely. The objective comes to basically integrating the new tunnel into a larger urban requalification scheme, comprising a new bridge, the Schumann Bridge, a new layout on the Saône docks, and a new public plaza, as well as architecturally well-designed portals for our tunnel. Finally, environmentally speaking, the new tunnel must adhere to new environmental standards, and the impact of the construction phase should be curbed as much as possible. From that reflection came several scenarios. So as part of the preliminary studies, several scenarios were actually thought up. Some revolved solely on cars, such as scenarios 2B and 4, that you can see 2B here and 4. Several options introduced commuter traffic, such as 1 and 3A, which are here and here. And finally, a few kept commuter transports in addition to green modes of transportation, like you can see here on option 2A and 3B. So rapidly scenarios centered solely on car traffic were put aside, and the Greater Lyon opted for the options that allowed a wider array of possible uses. So to confirm this choice, we are a city council after all. A wide-scale public inquiry was launched, and the Greater Lyon opted. So this inquiry was launched based on the project held by the Greater Lyon. The inquiry incorporated the new bridge and public plaza as follows. So the project was a road tunnel with 2 car lanes in each direction of traffic, maintaining the initial capacity of the infrastructure as it was in the 1980s. But in addition, a safety bypass with the following purposes was actually added: a one-way bus lane, a bidirectional cycling lane, and a pedestrian pathway. This project is the one that was validated after the public inquiry. As aforementioned, the utility of our safety bypass, serving primarily, let us not forget, as an egress for users in case of a fire or other incidents in the tube, was repurposed. To reassure pedestrians that wanted and encourage them to enter the green mode tube, illuminated animations were projected on the walls with examples such as, well, you can see here natural landscapes, bamboos from China, the rivers of Lyon, ocean flora and fauna, as well as a rather psychedelic atmosphere that we wanted to add to our illuminations. So this whole illumination apparatus functions due to green energy as well. A specific contract was actually passed with a solar energy provider. So we try to limit here polluting gas emissions or things as such. So the Greater Lyon held considerable importance to the management and reduction of traffic due to the construction site in the tunnel. To do so, all excavated materials from construction sites in the tunnel were evacuated on site by boat on the Saône, with actually one barge being the equivalent of 110 trucks in terms of capacity. That's a lot of trucks. Nevertheless, one barge emits less CO2 than one truck. So it's extremely efficient and extremely a very green solution, albeit, of course, a barge going 10 kilometers an hour. The valorization of all excavated materials were optimized by the installation of a crushing station on the docks of the Saône near the construction site. So this decrease in truck traffic led to the following aspects. It reduced, of course, naturally, noise complaints that could be associated with the construction. As you can see, the docks on your slide, the docks are a very residential area. And furthermore, this avoided further repair work to be done on deteriorated road pavement due to truck traffic. So, the result, finally, the urban integration of the infrastructure was polished. As you can see, we weren't kidding about the architectural beauty of the entrance and portals. And overall, the integration was a great success. The Croix-Rousse tunnel has become an emblem of the city of Lyon. And the inhabitants of Lyon actually have taken the infrastructure in hand, and they've made it their own. Every purpose of a tunnel has found its just use. Every pathway, from cars to pedestrians, commuter transport to bicycles, are now possible in the tunnel and near its portals as well. On this slide, you can see the Saône portal in the top left, right here. The Rhône portal, which with the entrance also to the green mode 2. And you can also see here the Saône portal with the entrance of the green tube, with the bus lane being here, the pathway here, and the bidirectional cycling lane going along here. So, as I mentioned earlier, the residents of Lyon have really made the tunnel their own. The green mode tube is periodically hosts several emblematic events of the city of Lyon. Besides the Lyon Light Festival that saw the green mode being welcome up to 15,000 patrons, which is a great number, at the height of the event, you'll find on this slide several other events, such as the Lyon Food Festival, in which 50 star chefs gear up and cook a meal for 3,400 people, all seated on the world's longest table, which you can see on the slides. Other than that, the world's largest comic strip was also exposed in the tunnel to the delight of the bystanders. So already 2 world records for the Lyon, the Croix-Rousse tunnel. And sports events are also organized amidst the tunnel. And you can see here a bike race as well as the Lyon Marathon. For each event, operation conditions of the tunnel are examined. And depending on the importance of the event, expected number of attendees, the road tunnel may also be closed to car traffic. So, despite us, users and the way they conceive transport evolve. For example, since the beginning of the global pandemic of COVID-19, more than 10,000 cyclists go through the Green Mode Tunnel daily. That's double what it was before the pandemic. Environmental challenges and pollution mitigation are gaining in priority and hardship as well. As proof, the city of Lyon has sought to implement a low emissions zone in the agglomeration. This position aims to reduce the impact of car traffic and also curb the atmospheric pollution. The same goes for the Croix-Rousse tunnel, for which discussions have already commenced. Thoughts on increasing the space dedicated to active modes, such as bikes and pedestrians, have started. New options for commuter traffic, leading to a reduction of the number of car lanes, may be possible. And a fully innovative option that could also implement a high level of service bus, sorry, or a tramway in the tunnel. So we started debating on these scenarios, some of which were brought up as early as 2006, but things move slow sometimes. You can see on the slide one of the sketches that was actually done for the Green Moat Tunnel with here tramway traffic and a pedestrian lane. Well, I'd like to, Mathieu, Hermen, and myself actually would like to thank you all for the interest you've shown in our infrastructure. It's a beautiful tunnel, the Croix-Rousse tunnel, held dearly in both the hearts of the authorities and inhabitants of the city. And I'll now give the hand back to Eric Prémat as we are open for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Camille, for this very comprehensive presentation. So with a lot of very innovative ideas for new uses of this tunnel, and yes, it's very interesting. So we have questions. First of all, a question about the combination of buses and cyclists, pedestrians. The question is about are the buses electric, and do the emission of the buses bother the pedestrians, for instance?
So just so viewers know, there may be a small time before I answer because Mathieu, which is next to me, gives me some elements of answering. So the buses are not electric yet, but we've actually started discussing about this option. I didn't hear the part about pedestrians though. If you could repeat, maybe, Eric. Nope.
I think the question is about air quality and the impact of the emissions of the buses to the other users, the cyclists and the pedestrians. And then behind this question, do you plan also to develop new transportation modes, green modes for your buses?
So we've started discussions on that. So like I said, the buses are not electric. Nonetheless, the quality of the air pollution, of the air, sorry, for cyclists and pedestrians is negligible. We've conducted tests there. If ever this becomes a problem, we've started discussing about simply transferring the buses into the road tunnel. That way, it won't be an inconvenience for any of the pedestrians. And the air is renewed in the Green Moat tube periodically due to like a piston system, so ventilation system that allows for evacuation. As you saw in the first slide, the Croix-Rousse tunnel is connected to 5 ventilation centrals, which allow for continuous renewal of the air.
It raises a lot of questions, but I think we have to stop now, just for, again, a technical break. So we'll shortly join in 1.5 minutes.
All right, and if any questions arise, we are joinable by email anyways. So I'll write the email in the discussion, or actually no. Well, our contact is available through the platform anyway, so we're always open for questions. Thank you very much for listening, and
thank you very much, Camille.
to the city. Thank you.